there, all you merry Vikings! Welcome to another episode of Merry Games with You. Today, we are looking at part 1 of tips on how to go about getting resources in the plains biome safely and efficiently. Tip number 1. Have 2 sets of armor. You'll need the best armor to be safe. The best one to have at this point is the wolf armor set. You need a fully upgraded version, but you can probably get by with a lower level as well. We need this set because the mobs in this biome deal massive damage, and the mobs tend to converge on you in a group. One too many hits and even with the wolf armor set, you are likely to die. The Zero Start Fuling has 175 health and deals 85 blunt, pierce or slash damage. The damage is determined by the weapon they carry. The 2 Start Fuling's damage has 170 blunt, pierce or slash. That is really stupendous if you realize you will likely have 2 to 3 or even more Fulings attacking you at one time. So you really need the best armor in terms of the damage you can take. The wolf set at level 4 will give you 82 armor. Sobering, isn't it? Doesn't sound quite enough for all the potential damage out there. That means, of course, you will need a good melee weapon, shield, a bow, and strategy to deal with the difficulty. But before we get to that, what is the other armor you will need? The Fenris armor set is the other armor set that will be useful. When you know that movement is going to be your priority, I would suggest you use this set. It has much less armor but gives you just enough extra speed to either parry or hit and then run. The armor will not be enough for tanking. This armor is useful if you want to run in quickly and get out fast. It could be used if you want to draw the mobs out from the village and then jump to safety across water or get out of the way quickly. If you are good at reacting quickly, this might be enough for you. Otherwise, you should still use the wolf armor. The Fenris set has 30 armor at level 1 and 48 armor at level 4. In total, it has 21 weight compared to the wolf's set 37 weight. Much lighter. Although the speed is only slightly faster, it does give you a slight edge if running is more important. The full set has a plus 9% speed increase. The coat gives you resistance to frost, but the full set gives you resistance to fire and plus 15 skill to fists. You need Fenris hair and the cultist trophy to make this armor. They can be found inside frost caves in the mountain biome. Tip number 2. Use the silver sword and silver shield to start. Fulings don't have any particular weakness and they are immune to spirit. Fulings will circle a player and attack 3 times, either with melee or ranged, move away and return again to repeat the process. Although the Silver Sword's 45 spirit damage at level 4 is useless, the 93 slash damage is not bad, and the sword is capable of staggering Fulings. The 1 and 2 start Fulings will be slightly harder to stagger though. Be aware that Fulings are short, and if you fight on uneven ground with melee, it is possible to miss them as the attack may go over their head. It is a must to carry a shield. The silver shield has 60 block armor and 40 block force at level 1, and 72 block armor and 50 block force at level 4. It is a good idea to parry before you attack, so use the shield just before the Fuling hits you to do a parry. It gives you a better bonus than just blocking. Tip number 3. Practice hitting the Deathsquito just as it comes up to you. It is better than parrying and then hitting it. There are Deathsquitos that will surprise you out of the blue, so keep an eye out for them. A shield is useful against them as well. Hitting them after you parry is difficult though. It is far better to whack them with your sword as soon as they attack. However, it takes some practice to get the timing right. Later on, when you get access to black metal, you can make some better weapons. Deathsquitos have only 10 HP but do 90 pierce damage. Tip number 4. Frostner, or the Porcupine, may be useful against large groups. Fandom Wiki says these 2 weapons are good for melee. The Porcupine deals more raw damage of the 2 with 50 blunt and 63 pierce at level 4. It is an all-round effective weapon due to the combination of blunt and pierce damage. The Frostner, on the other hand, slows down the attack due to the frost negative status effect that applies a movement and turn speed penalty, besides having a very high knockback. It has 35 blunt, 58 frost and 20 spirit damage at level 4. When you get your hands on black metal, the black metal art gear is a weapon you might want to consider. It is a two-handed weapon with 105 pierce at level 1, but can hit several Fulings in one swipe with a secondary attack with no multi-target penalties. Tip number 5. Use either the Huntsman Bow or the Draugr Fang Bow. The Draugr Fang Bow has more damage, and it is my favorite bow. It has 47 pierce and 5 poison at level 1, and 56 pierce and 20 poison at level 4. Besides having poison damage of its own, it stacks poison damage from poison arrows which other bows cannot do. It can one-shot Fulings and stagger them too. The Huntsman Bow with frost and needle arrows is capable of one-shotting 0-star Fulings as well. According to Fandom Wiki, the Draugr Fang Bow makes a noise while the Huntsman Bow is silent, and that noise could draw the mobs to you. However, I can't seem to pick up on this noise, so I think the Draugr Fang Bow is fine. The only obvious difference is the soft green light that the Draugr Fang Bow emits. Maybe mobs can notice it, but to be honest, I would still use the Draugr Fang if I had it. Whichever bow you choose, it is an essential weapon. As Fulings like to attack in a large group, it is a good idea to whittle down their numbers before you engage them in melee. You can lure Fulings to water. They are short and slow swimmers. If you can run and jump across water and then shoot them, it will give you plenty of time to lower their HP or even kill them in the water. You could lure them and make them fall into a pit and shoot them after you jump across. Fulings easily fall into steep-sided holes. Do remember that digging creates noise and will attract nearby mobs. You could use the Fenris armor in this sort of activity, but you do need to be nimble and move at the right moment. Do carry more health Mead when using Fenris armor. Just one more thing to add. If you do kill them in water, make sure the water is not too deep to retrieve the loot. Tip number 6. Always carry health and poison resist Mead. This is very important as it could mean the difference between recuperating in a safe area or running back a long distance to collect your loot from your tombstone to face more Fulings, and doing it naked in the process. Use the medium health Mead to recover HP when you can. Having high health is important in the plains. Make sure to always keep it as high as you can by eating. The poison resist Mead is needed when you encounter growths at or near tar pits. They can come at you out of the blue. It is not always easy to spot tar pits, as they could be located in a depression or on the other side of a low hill. Personally, they are scarier than Fulings, and Fulings are scary enough. Growths deal 45 blunt and 50 poison damage, are resistant to frost, pierce and slash, and immune to poison and stagger. They are weak to fire and blunt. They have a ranged attack that's a volley of 6 projectiles that deal lots of damage, and what is worse, deals the tard effect that slows your movement speed for a few seconds. With sufficient stamina and the correct timing, your rolling speed, which is not affected by this, might be able to move you out of harm's way till the effect wears off. You can avoid projectiles by strafing as well. I do this by moving sideways at the same time I run forwards. It works quite well, but when you get careless, the projectiles will hit you. The poison resist Mead will mitigate some of the damage you receive from the growth. I suggest you keep the poison resist running all the time if you know there's a tar pit nearby. They also have a very high distance leap that covers a lot of ground, especially if you are slowed down. The good news is they are easy to kill with a ranged attack, and silver arrows are the best as they are considered undead. The silver arrow deals 26 pierce and 20 spirit damage every 3 seconds. Tip number 7. Build a plains farm base that is on raised ground near to different resources. I suggest raising a dirt platform for your farm base. This way, no Fulings, Lox or any walking mobs can enter the base from the outside. The farm area should also be too high up to be bashed. Deathsquitos, however, will still be able to fly up, so secure your buildings so they cannot fly into the building. This base is on the border of the meadows biome and the plains. It is near the 2 Fuling villages, has many patches of cloudberries, and several Lox spawn nearby. A very convenient location. Being near to these resources means we can get black metal and starter barley and flax, and Lox that can be tamed to supply the Lox pelt and Lox meat that we need. This helps us get started on our tier 4 weapons, armor, food and mead. There are plenty of Deathsquitos nearby too, to supply needles. We have created an outdoor space for lots of barley and flax in the front, which belongs to the plains biome. Barley and flax can only be grown in the plains. To one side, we have started breeding a pair of Lox in a vertical pen, and to the rear of the building is a meadows forest where we can get wood if needed. Only fine wood grows in the plains, of which there are plenty nearby too. However, if you are not near any meadows with a portal, you can travel to the main base and get wood from there too. Tip number 8. Harvest cloudberries whenever you find them. As you can see, there are several patches of cloudberries on top of the farming platform. they are as good as having an actual farm of cloudberries. There are a few more patches on lower ground nearby as well that we can go harvest whenever they are ready. Cloudberries are used in recipes like the Lox meat pie, a very good food, and in the fire-resist mead we will need for the Yagluth boss fight, as well as other meads too. So when you're running around the plains, you should harvest them whenever you can. Tip number 9. Have a safe spot to retreat to when getting barley and flax by raiding nearby villages. Use the bow to draw some Fulings out or run in and drag them out. Then get to a place to shoot them from. Whittle their numbers down with the bow. I would do this by climbing up a rock or a dirt platform with some walls, either dirt or wood, to provide cover. You could also dig a trench around the rock or raise dirt to protect it from the Fuling Berserker, as it is capable of destroying rocks. Tip number 10. If there are any Fulings in towers, kill those first. Tip 11. When many Fulings chase after you, kill the Fuling Berserkers and Shamans first. They are the most dangerous, so getting them out of the way first is the priority, but only if they come out to you. Do not go into the village to kill them. Be careful. Any digging will also draw the attention of Fulings. If the rock breaks, you can still build up inside it using wood, but the dirt walls will remain intact. Once you think the number of Fulings are manageable, go in and use melee. Or kill all using the bow if that is your preference. When it is empty, go in and harvest the barley and flax. Tip number 12. Loot black metal from chests in Fuling villages and forts, as well as from loot from dead Fulings you have killed. There are chests inside the villages that have resources like black metal or barley and flax that you can loot. Besides Fuling villages, there are other structures in the plains biome that will have chests you can loot or Fulings you can kill to get their loot. Some of these structures look like towers. There's also something called the Stonehenge. These may spawn with a chest, a Fuling Berserker, or even a Veglazier stone. You can start crafting weapons of your choice when you have sufficient black metal to do so. Tip number 13. Once you have flax, use it to make linen thread in the spinning wheel and make the Lox Saddle. This will come in useful to move tamed Loxes to where you want them to go, or to use them to travel around the map. Loxes can travel very fast when they are sprinting, much faster than a player sprinting. Furthermore, they are not slowed down by the player's armor or inventory weight. A Lox has 240 points of stamina. Leveling the riding skill will increase the riding speed and lower the stamina drain. However, stamina regain is much slower than a player's. To keep it regaining stamina at its fastest speed, make sure the Lox is always in a fed state. It is not yet possible to use weapons while riding. You can equip a weapon, but you can't use it. Once you use the weapon, you will jump out of your seat. There are benefits, in my opinion. This means a fast dismount without having to get off and then equip a weapon to fight. If you think there is likely to be a fight, I would get off before the fight and leave the Lox in as safe an area as I can find, making sure to mark the spot so I can find the Lox again. If you don't mind risking the loss of the Lox, then it will make a good fight companion. It has very good health points and good damage resistance. Tip number 14. Tame some wild Lox and use the Lox Saddle to bring them into their pen. If your plains farm base is near to a Lox spawn, you can throw some cloudberries to tame at least 2 wild ones. You can just let them roam around the spot till they are tamed, or you can build what I like to call my pillared canyon trap so they tame inside. It is not necessary, but I find it fun to do anyway. Once you have the pillars lined up in a canyon shape, make the Lox chase you into it. Then reverse direction to the entrance and quickly raise the last pillar to lock it inside. It is best if there is only one Lox inside, or they will climb over each other and get out. You can make another beside it for the next Lox. If 2 enter, then leave it in there. Once tamed, bring them into the pen you have built. I brought my first 2 into a ground level pen to produce pairs. Then I brought 2 up to my vertical farm. If you notice, my ground level pen has a roof of sorts made out of wood beams and ladders to protect them from the Deathsquito. This is because Lox cannot breed under a roof, but the wood beams do not count. Later, I will make a similar roof for my vertical pen. Thanks for staying till the end. In my next episode, I will continue with the second part of this title. Till next time, my merry Vikings, bye everyone!